Hey guys, how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, in a little bit of a different outfit, just for the point of that joke. Um, Today we're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and just basically everything that I think about it, and I'm gonna redo this. Hey guys, how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here, and today we're going to be discussing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and basically my thoughts on it and everything on that end. Now, I didn't do a live stream for the final episode, so we could save it for today. So I hope nobody's hurt by that, but that's just kind of what my plan was. So today we're joined by Bucky and Sam, or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we're here to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, follow me on all the social media down below. So with all that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the video. So, honestly, I like the show not as much as WandaVision, and not as much as The Winter Soldier or Civil War, but for Captain America franchises, I guess, this definitely beat the first Avenger, and also beat a few other Marvel movies. So, it's a nice costume, I like it, but it is so hot, I had to switch out of it just because I was overheating and I couldn't think straight. So let's actually talk about it so far. So I really enjoyed the show. I don't think there's going to be a second season. However, I did hear that they're going to be making Captain America number 4, so that will be with Sam. Obviously, spoilers, by the way, for the show and for probably some future Marvel products. So how I'm going to talk about this is I'm going to kind of give each episode a little quick summary, then talk about the characters, talk about some of my favorite parts, talk about some of my least favorite parts, and then give it a grade like we do the Star Wars movies, and then go on from there. So the first episode is kind of just catching up on like where Sam and Bucky are now, where Sam's gives away the shield to the government, and he's basically trying to live a normal life, even though he is going through like government contracts and stuff like that. And Bucky is pardoned and trying to cope with basically his past trauma. Then we're introduced to the new Captain America, aka John Walker. Next after that is the next episode, where it kind of fleshes out a little more about John, and then it also introduces the Flag Smashers to a better degree, because they're just mentioned in the first episode. And basically we get the first fight with the Flag Smashers, and the introduction of John's fighting style, along with Lamar Hodgkins, aka Battlestar, and all that. And we also are introduced to Isaiah Bradley, who was Captain America after Steve went on ice and it was all covered up and everything. And then we are told that we're going to be meeting Zemo, which in the next episode is them breaking Zemo out, and the biggest meme of all time for Marvel, which is Dancing Zemo. We also get Sharon Carter reintroduced, and just basically kind of more intricacies about what's going on with the Flag Smashers and what's going on with this power broker that we are hearing about and everything like that. Then in the fourth episode, which was probably the biggest biggest shocking scene in all of the MCU, which we're going to have a video about that next month on which ones are the top 5 most shocking scenes. We have John killing a Flag Smasher at the end, but we also have all this buildup of the Wakandans wanting Zemo back, them trying to find the Flag Smashers, somebody that we never heard of dying, and there's being a funeral and everything like that, and John basically being beaten up the whole episode until he finally takes the super soldier serum. Then we have Lamar dying. Then in episode 5, we basically have the fallout of everything that happened in episode 4. John gets completely obliterated by Sam and Bucky. Sam keeps the shield. We're introduced to the Contessa, and John is stripped from the rank of Captain America, and we can tell the Flag Smashers are ramping up on what they're going to do, and they're in America. and basically Sam's training with the shield and Bucky's helping him. They finally fix the boat that was introduced in the first episode that I didn't mention because at that episode it wasn't that big of a plot line, and then them repairing the boat and getting ready to sell it and then not selling it. And it felt like it was going to be a finale because they saved episode 6 for all the action. Which, I'll talk about this one a little more since I didn't do a live stream. The other stuff was summarized because I did have live streams for the first 5 episodes, so make sure you guys go back and watch those. Let's talk about episode 6. So, episode 6, we have the Flag Smashers mobilizing to attack the GRC, which was basically the reorganizing group for people that had been snapped away and came back. And we have Sam unveil his new costume, which is Captain America's comic costume for Sam, which looks really, really nice. I would have grabbed him to be standing here, but I didn't want to take apart my bed to be able to do that. But yeah, that was a really, really cool outfit. Especially really cool to see in live action. We have John also coming back and fighting with a crappy knockoff of the Cap Shield, which I did call in my live stream for episode 5 that I was like, watch it get like just dented or shot at and it goes right through. And I was making a whole joke about that the entire week, and it actually happened. And basically they all save the day. John ends up being a good guy, which we'll talk about that at the end or during his character analysis. But yeah, John ends up helping them and everything, and they actually do the right thing and call the police. And Sam takes the mantle of Captain America, basically tells off the GRC and saying how unfair they are to the people that had not been snapped away, and how they never really talked about what they're going to do in a fair way, which was basically felt like a Captain America speech, which was really nice. Then we get Isaiah getting a spot in the Captain America Memorial, Bucky making amends with everybody, and John becoming U.S. agent, and then we also are revealed that Sharon was the power broker this whole time. So that's basically the sum up of all the 6 episodes. Now let's talk about characters. So yeah, first, Sam has had the most development in the story, where he went from rejecting Cap's shield to basically becoming Captain America and owning it and just learning how to use the shield. Bucky, I've heard people saying he was underused. I do agree on that. He kind of was just played off as the sidekick, which he started out kind of just self-loathing and sad and everything, and ended up being like a really good friend and a really good person, which we knew that was going to happen, but I wish there was a little bit more to develop on that. John, because really this show does focus on 4 characters, John being the third, he had a pretty great arc in my opinion, and like a pretty great meta arc of, at least for me, him being like one of the most hated Marvel characters at the beginning, of where people could not stand him, moving on to be basically you're rooting for him at the end because he goes and saves everybody, and he's finally being that good person that Steve was. I mean, obviously not to the extent of Steve, but yeah, he's still doing like the right thing. And it was great to actually see like his emotions change from the 3rd to 5th episode, where he was all like, you could tell he was stressed out and over his head and just a very mean person, to like at the end of episode 6 he was like happy and cheering and everything that he became U.S. agent. He didn't even care that he wasn't Captain America anymore, which was a big turnaround since he was basically yelling at people that he was Captain America and going crazy about it. It was great to see that change. Next is Carly, which Carly was kind of another very underdeveloped villain. I know that they kind of like analyzed how she acted and everything like that, but or why she was the way she was. But she still kind of just had that I'm the bad guy. I mean, you should feel sorry for me, but I'm still the bad guy sort of action on it. And her character development was weird. It went from being like somebody that was fighting for the right reason, just in the wrong way, kind of like Killmonger, but then it went to an extreme of not even trusting her values, which I understand that that's kind of like supposed to be her arc, but it went literally from like 1 to 100 in like 10 seconds. And then it went from 100 to 1,000, and then it went to 1,000 to 1,000,000. Every step that she took, and it felt off. Like it felt like there's parts missing of why she started changing this way. And I know that there was a virus plot that had to be cut, but I don't know if that would have helped serve her mental processing being shown to us. 2 more characters I want to talk about. One being Sharon, which I don't know what they're trying to set up Sharon to be, because she's kind of playing where like you can't trust her but you can at the same time. And I just remember being confused this whole final episode of like, okay, if she is the power broker, why did she promise Batroc that she would kill Sam, or that he could kill Sam, and yet work with Sam on the next part? I know it was probably to try to get to Carly, but she had so many opportunities of just being Sharon Carter to get to Carly. Like, she could have just went with Sam and Bucky in the very next episode after they broke out Zemo, just to get to Carly, and she didn't. And like, there's stuff that didn't make sense to me. Then last was the inclusion of Isaiah Bradley, which I think was a phenomenal inclusion. Great acting. I mean, he didn't really have much of an arc because he was more of a side character, kind of being like the person in Sam's ear, kind of this is what's going to happen if you become Captain America and stuff like that. So, I mean, there wasn't that much of character development, but it was really cool to see this inclusion of a forgotten Captain America that was purposely forgotten because of his ethnicity. And, I mean, if you are a Marvel fan, you kind of know where Sam's headed to, and it would make sense that, like, they would show this to him being like, this is what you're in for, basically. But yeah, so some of my favorite moments, have to say the whole final fight with Sam and Batroc was really cool. Especially like Sam using the shield and his wings at the same time was just great. I gotta say, the whole everything with Bucky in the whole first episode has to be my favorite stuff. And of course, the shield coming down was another favorite part of mine, just because it's going to be stuck in everyone's memories for years. Now, some of my least favorite parts, I mean, you could probably guess with what I said, but like, Sharon's whole side plot did not make any sense to me, and Carly's subplot was a little iffy for me. She's honestly a little bit of a boring villain, which I do enjoy that actress. I liked her in Solo. However, like, just really boring villain, and it felt, and I know because they had to cut a lot of it, but it felt very disconjointed at certain parts. And I know it was because they had to kind of beat around that bush of what they originally intended it to be. I'd like to see, like, I hate to say it, I'd like to see a virus cut of the show. But, like, I feel like it would make everything a little more complete. So, that is all my thoughts on it. Let me rank it. So, I'm not going to rank it out of 24. I will give it a ranking out of 10, however. I do give it about a 6 out of 10. Again, I enjoyed watching it every week, but it was basically back to formula for Marvel. Which it felt nice at the beginning, but after a while it's like I could just watch The Winter Soldier or Civil War and get the same feelings. I'm happy to see what Captain America 4 has in its future, and I'm excited to see what Loki has, since that's what's coming up next. So stay tuned for more Marvel videos. Next week we're going to be talking about if Tony Stark will ever come back. And tomorrow we'll be talking about Star Wars A New Hope. And on Wednesday we'll be showing off some of my Pokemon cards. And Thursday we'll be watching Captain America the First Avenger with Angie. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and look down in the description. I got about 6 other social medias you guys should follow. Thank you very much. Have a great day. And remember, we're all superheroes on the inside.